Good morning, Manas. Good morning, Athar.
Good morning, ma'am.
Have you guys completed your work?
Ma'am, on Saturday, ma'am, I was out of station, so ma'am, cannot attend the class. Ma'am, I have seen a recording, ma'am, we have done the question answers.
So
Ma'am,
have you,
I will do question answers.
Athar Singh, have you done the question answers?
Ma'am, last two questions are left.
So complete your work first, because then we have to start with the new chapter. Or shall we start with the new chapter? You tell me.
Ma'am, the students are less, so ma'am, we can complete our uh, work.
Let's see how many will be joining, then we'll decide. For the time, you can start doing your work. Yuvraj Gupta, is your work completed?
Ma'am, three question answer, long question answer are left.
Complete it now.
Okay, ma'am.
We have to give reasons as well. Have we discussed give reasons? No.
No, ma'am.
So first you complete that much, then we'll discuss the give reasons. Good morning, everyone. Has everyone completed their question answers of geography
Yes,
chapter
ma'am.
8? Stuti, all work completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Kindly make a PDF and send.
Okay, ma'am.
Who has joined by the name of Avantika? Who has joined by the name of Avantika? Okay, it's Ayushman. Ayushman, is your work completed, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
All the work is completed?
Yes, ma'am.
So shall we discuss the give reasons now, or do you want to complete your work first?
We
Let's
we
discuss
can discuss.
because many of the students have completed their work. We can go ahead with the give reasons. Yep. So give reason number one is the houses of Sahara region are made up of mud. Who will tell me the answer? Kids, who will tell me the answer? Why the houses of Sahara region are made up of mud? Can anyone tell me? Nobody knows the answer. Manas, Yuvraj Gupta, Stuti. Good morning, Ujasvi.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yuvraj Gupta, tell me the answer. Why do you think the houses of Rajasthan or like the Sahara are made up of mud?
Now I am finding the answer in the book.
You don't need to look at for in the book. You can answer it just like that. It's pretty easy question. Just use your IQ. It's a common sense question. Think about it, Mubashira. Can you tell us the answer? The question we are doing is why the houses of Sahara Desert made up of mud?
Ma'am,
Yes, Ayushman.
the houses of Sahara region are made of mud. So that the mud can.
Peak is
मैम उससे हीट नहीं जा सकती है आर पार।
exactly absolutely cool. As we know that the climate of Sahara region is very hot during the day and very cold at night. So mud houses जो होते हैं naturally insulated होते हैं, right? So they will be warm during the nights and cool during the day, favoring the people living in the desert region. Okay, I'm sharing this in the group. You can take help from there. Next is the temperature of Ladakh is very low. Can anyone tell me why is it so?
Because मैम the Ladakh is at the high altitude.
Very good. Because Ladakh is located at a very higher altitude. Next question is third one is the main occupation of the people of the Ganga Brahmaputra basin is agriculture. Can you tell me why? Why the people of Ganga Brahmaputra region are mainly occupied in
Because मैम
And because of
there
the
is
river flowing
very
there,
very
ma'am,
fertile.
it makes the soil fertile.
Exactly because of Ganga, because the Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers makes the soil very fertile. That's why. Next question, the last one. The Amazon basin is thinly populated.
Ma'am, because it is not a developed area, and ma'am, it has a rainforest all around us.
Okay, anybody else? Your answer is correct. It could just be framed in a better manner. Just correct. Learn to frame your answers nicely. It could be because the Amazon forests are so dense, right? And they're even dark and damp, because of which it is difficult for people to travel or even live there. Okay. So I am sharing the answers as well. You can take the help of those answers and then try to write in your own manner, own language. Okay? Complete the chapter today in your work in the group so that tomorrow we can start with the new chapter. Okay?
Okay,
Mm.
ma'am.
As you know, the online classes are extended till 14th of Jan, right?
Yes मैम।
As soon as you have done two questions, please share them on the group. How many of you were not there in the last two lectures on Saturday? Could you please raise your hands? The ones who have not joined the last two lectures. Please raise your hands.
Ma'am, me also.
Okay, many of you were not there. So I have showcased certain videos in the previous lecture. I will show them right now as well. You can keep doing your work and you can also see those videos. Okay? But I will not give any more lecture further than today for the completion of work. Okay? Am I clear?
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
I'm sharing my screen with you all. Let me know whether you can see it or not. Okay? Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm starting the videos. You can please focus here on the screen.
Hot deserts and two cold deserts. We will deal with it. Life in the deserts. Our Earth is made up of a variety of landforms like mountain, plateau, plain, climates, plants, and animal life. A desert is a natural region that receives an extremely low amount of precipitation, less than enough to support the life of plants. Deserts are classified as hot and cold deserts. The weather can be either extremely hot or very cold. Well-known hot deserts are the Sahara Desert, Arabian Desert, Gobi Desert, Kalahari Desert, Patagonian Desert, Great Victoria Desert, Syrian Desert, Great Basin Desert, and Thar Desert. Cold deserts like Antarctic, Arctic, Greenland, Ladakh, etc. are covered in snow or ice. Children, this chapter will focus on the Sahara, a hot desert, and the Ladakh, a cold desert.
Now let's start about Ladakh.
Students, we already know about the importance of water in the life of living beings. There can be no life where there is no water. There are many places in the world where there is abundant water and moderate climate. But there are also some places where water is scarce and the climate is extreme. These places, which are characterized by extremely high or low temperatures and scarce vegetation, are known as deserts. Do you know how many types of deserts are there? Well, on the basis of temperature, deserts can be divided into two categories: hot deserts and cold deserts. Can you guess which is the largest hot desert in the world? Yes, it is the Sahara. Here, we'll learn about the Sahara. Students, do you remember in which continent the Sahara Desert is located? Yes, the Sahara is located in the northern part of Africa. The area occupied by the Sahara is almost 2.5 times as large as our country, India. It stretches over 11 countries, which are Algeria, Chad, Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Niger, Sudan, Tunisia, and Western Sahara. What do we visualize when the word desert is mentioned? The most common picture that emerges in our mind is that of a vast expanse of sand. But apart from sand, we can also find gravel plains and elevated plateaus with bare rocky surfaces in the Sahara. Now, let us learn about the climate of the Sahara. As previously mentioned, the temperature in any desert is on the extreme side. As the Sahara is a hot desert, the temperature here remains very high. The temperatures during the day may soar as high as 50 degrees Celsius. On the contrary, the nights can be freezing cold. Do you know the reason behind this? During the day, the high temperature heats up the sand and rocks, which in turn radiates heat, making everything hot. But at night, most of the heat from the sand and rocks quickly radiates into the air, and there is no sunlight to reheat it. The temperature drops down dramatically due to this. You'll be surprised to know that the Sahara also has a short rainy season, which is responsible for the little vegetation we find there. We can find cactus, date palms, and acacia in the Sahara. You can surprisingly find a fertile area surrounding a source of water in these extremely dry regions. Do you know what it is known as? It is known as an oasis. But how is an oasis formed? We know that depressions are formed in deserts when the wind blows away the sands. Sometimes underground water reaches the surface in these depressions, forming an oasis. People may settle around an oasis and grow date palms and other crops. This
Yes, so there's a question for you. On what basis are deserts divided into hot and cold deserts?
Temperature.
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 Sahara is not as lifeless as it might appear to be. We can also find some animals in the Sahara. The common animals that we can find here are camels, foxes, jackals, hyenas, scorpions, and many varieties of snakes and lizards. Now, let us learn about the life of people living in the Sahara Desert. Despite its harsh climate, several groups of people, mainly the nomadic tribes, inhabit the Sahara. The major ones among them are the Tuaregs and the Bedouins. They move from place to place throughout the desert along with their livestock. They mainly rear goats, sheep, camels, and horses. These animals provide them with milk and hide, which is used to make leather for belts, slippers, and water bottles. The people living in the Sahara wear heavy robes to protect themselves from dust storms and hot winds. There are human settlements in the oasis of Sahara and the Nile Valley of Egypt. People grow date palms and crops such as rice, wheat, barley, and beans since water is available here. Egyptian cotton, which is famous worldwide, is grown in Egypt. The discovery of oil has led to a great transformation in the Sahara Desert. Petroleum is mainly found in Algeria, Libya, and Egypt. Some other minerals of importance like iron, phosphorus, manganese, and uranium are also found here. The cultural landscape of the Sahara is undergoing a great change. One can see modern offices and superhighways in place of mud houses and camel paths in the Sahara today. The nomadic people are seen acting as guides to foreign tourists. The number of nomadic herdsmen taking to city life and finding jobs in oil and gas operations is increasing day by day. Overall, modernization is making its impact on the Sahara Desert.
बताइए The two main nomadic types of Sahara are dash and
Ma'am, Bedouins and Tuareg.
Tuaregs.
source of making belts, slippers, water bottles.
Hide. Ma'am, hide.
Hide.
Leather.
What is mainly found in Algeria, Libya, and Egypt?
Petroleum.
Ma'am,
Petroleum.
Petrol.
Let's recap the highlights of the lesson.
Students, all of us know that water is very important for plants, animals, and human beings to survive. It is very difficult to live in places where water is scarce. There are many places in this world which, along with being water scarce, experience extreme temperatures. These places are known as deserts. Based on temperature, there can be hot deserts and cold deserts. Ladakh, located in northern India, is an example of a cold desert. Let us learn about Ladakh, its flora and fauna, and the life of its people. Do you know which is the coldest place in India? Well, it is Dras, which lies in the Union Territory of Ladakh. Ladakh is a cold desert lying in the northernmost part of India. It is bound by the Karakoram Range in the north and the Zanskar Mountains in the south. Much of Ladakh is 3,000 meters above sea level and formed over 45 million years. The Indus and its tributaries pass through deep valleys and gorges. Several glaciers like the Gangri Glacier are also found in Ladakh. The climate of Ladakh is extremely cold and dry. The temperature lies between 3 and 30 degrees centigrade during the summers and between minus 20 and minus 30 degrees centigrade during the winters. Ladakh experiences very low rainfall as it lies in the rain shadow area of the Himalayas. Ladakh experiences very cold winds as well as burning hot sunlight. It will be very surprising to discover that if you sit in the sun with half your body in the shade, you may suffer from sunstroke and frostbite both at the same time.
बताइए which river and tributaries flow through Ladakh?
Indus.
Ma'am, Indus.
Ma'am, Indus.
Indus.
Now let us learn about the flora and fauna of Ladakh. As Ladakh is a cold desert, it is very obvious that the vegetation is extremely sparse except on the banks of rivers and wetlands. We can find some fruit trees like apples and apricots during the summers. Several species of birds like finches, robins, gulls, hoopoe, etc. are commonly sighted. Animals like wild goats, wild sheep, and yak are reared by the people of Ladakh for milk, meat, and hides. We'll now learn about the people of Ladakh. We can find a striking resemblance between the people of Ladakh and those of Tibet and Central Asia. These people are mainly followers of Islam and Buddhism. We can find many Buddhist monasteries here with their traditional gompas. Some famous monasteries are Hemis, Tikse, She, and Lamayuru. Barley, potatoes, peas, beans, and turnip are grown in the summer season. The women work in the house and fields, manage small businesses and shops, and enjoy high status in society. Tourism is a major activity in Ladakh. Tourists from India and abroad come to see the gompas, meadows, glaciers, and the colorful ceremonies and festivities of Ladakh. Life in Ladakh is changing due to modernization. But the people of Ladakh have learned to live in balance and harmony with nature.
Yak.
Ma'am, yak.
Yes, children, which of the following animal is most likely to be seen in Ladakh?
Yak.
Yak.
Yeah. Let us recapitulate what we have learned.
Okay, kids. So did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Let's look at a few pictures of people living in different parts of the world. Why do they look all different? We already know that people living in hilly areas lead a different life compared to those living in the deserts and plains. Similarly, the lifestyle of people all over the world is determined by the climate and the natural region. However, we should remember that people all over the world share the same basic needs of food, shelter, clothing, etc. We shall now explore the lifestyles of people in different regions. In this section, we shall study the life of the people living in the Amazon basin. Let us look at the world map and try to identify the Amazon River. Can you name the continent where it is located? Yes, that's right. The Amazon River is in South America. Can you name the countries through which it flows? The Amazon River and its tributaries pass through Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, French Guiana, Guyana, Peru, Suriname, and Venezuela. The river and its tributaries drain these areas and form the Amazon basin. Can you identify the countries through which only the Amazon River passes? Before we explore life in the Amazon basin, let us look at its features more closely. The Amazon River starts from the Andes Mountains and drains eastwards into the Atlantic Ocean. It is one of the two longest rivers. The Amazon basin is the largest in the world. It lies between 10 degrees north and 10 degrees south latitudes, which is close to the equator, thus making it lie in the equatorial region. Spanish explorers discovered the river in the 16th century. They were said to be attacked by native warriors wearing headgears and grass skirts and led by women. They reminded the explorers of the fierce tribes of the women warriors in the ancient Roman Empire known as Amazons. Now you know the reason behind the name of the river. Now let us explore life in the Amazon basin. Can you guess the climate of the region? As it is close to the equator, the climate would be hot and wet throughout the year. A typical day would have equally hot and humid mornings and nights, with temperatures decreasing only slightly at night. Rainfall would be almost constant and without much warning. Due to the climate, the Amazon rainforests are thick and dense. It is difficult for sunlight to reach the ground as the leaves and branches of the forests form a roof. The ground is thus damp and dark, and we can only find vegetation that can grow in this.
Yes, children. Now the question is identify the incorrect feature about the Amazon basin.
Ma'am,
What is
drains
the
westwards.
Ma'am, drain westward.
data sheet?
Shade. Plant parasites like orchids and bromeliads can be found here. Bromeliads store water in their leaves and are used by animals like frogs for laying eggs. Now that we have explored the climate and the flora, let us look at the fauna. We can find different bird species like the hummingbird, toucan, and macaw. These birds make a lot of noise in the rainforests. Macaws are famous for their oversized bills for eating and colorful plumage. Mammals like sloths, monkeys, and ant-eating tapirs are found here. Crocodiles, snakes, and pythons are a few examples of the various reptile species found here. The anaconda and boa constrictor are native to the Amazon. Thousands of species of insects have also made their home in the Amazon basin. The Amazon basin has the largest number of fish species among other river basins, with the flesh-eating piranhas being one of them. Let us now explore the final inhabitants of the Amazon basin, namely humans. Humans grow crops like sweet potato, tapioca, and pineapple in small pockets in the forests. While the men hunt and fish, survival primarily depends on the women folk who look after the crops and vegetables. Why so? Because the men may not always be successful while hunting and fishing. Cassava, also known as manioc, is their staple food. It grows underground like the potato. Cash crops like coffee, maize, and cocoa are grown to earn a livelihood. Slash and burn form of agriculture is practiced, where land is cleared by cutting or slashing the trees and bushes and then burning them to release the nutrients into the soil. Crops can grow in this cleared field for a few years. The soil loses nutrients after being repeatedly used, and the plot is then abandoned. The people move on to clear new land, and in the meantime, the fertility is restored in the abandoned land, making it ready for cultivation again in a few years. Wood from rainforests is readily available to build shelters and homes. The thatched houses are shaped like a beehive. Large apartment-like houses with slanting roofs are called malo.
Yes, kids. What is the staple crop of the people?
Cassava.
Cassava.
cassava,
And dash crops like coffee and maize are
Cash crops. Cash crops.
ma'am, cash crops,
Hookah. In the past, it was extremely difficult to access parts of the basin. People living there used the rivers to navigate. The Trans-Amazon Highway in 1970 made more of the rainforest accessible. Aircrafts and helicopters can be used to reach remote and inaccessible places. Developmental activities, however, have led to the destruction of large areas of the forest and forced indigenous people to leave their homes and settle in new areas. The topsoil easily washes away due to rainfall, and the once rich forest becomes a barren landscape. The Amazon basin has been disappearing year by year, and it is vital for our society to maintain its rich biodiversity. So far, we have learned that
understood, kids?
yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
We have explored life in the Amazon basin. Let us now look at how people live in the Ganga-Brahmaputra basin. The Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers together make up this basin in the Indian subcontinent. The basin lies between 10° north and 30° north latitudes. It is a subtropical region. Look at the map of India. The Ghagra, Son, Chambal, Gandak, and Kosi tributaries of the Ganga, along with some tributaries of the Brahmaputra river, drain this basin. The basin can be found in 5 countries, which are India, Nepal, Bhutan, Tibet, and Bangladesh. Can you name the states in India that are covered by the Ganga-Brahmaputra basin? Yes, it covers 10 states and 1 union territory, which are Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Bihar, West Bengal, and Delhi. The main features of the basin are the Ganga and Brahmaputra plains, the Himalaya mountains and foothills, and the Sundarbans delta. We can see how the topography is extremely varied in the basin. The topography and environment thus influence population distribution. Can you guess where would people prefer to live? That's right. People would prefer to live in the plains and not the mountains. Why? Mountains have steep slopes and an uneven terrain, which makes it difficult to build homes, travel, and grow crops. Plains have fertile soil, and the flat terrain is suitable for human habitation. Agriculture is mainly practiced, with paddy as the main crop. We can find oxbow lakes here. Population density is much higher in the plains. The number of people that live in 1 square kilometer of area is known as population density. Uttarakhand, being a mountainous region, has a population density of 189, while West Bengal and Bihar have a density of 1029 and 1102 respectively, as per the data of 2011. Let us look at the climate in the basin.